Joining us now at KOBO's Innovation Cafe is our very own Chris Abel, and we are talking about strange paint.
Strange paint indeed, yes. So at the Art Gallery of Ontario, as you can imagine, especially in the world of contemporary art, artists sometimes reach for some rather unusual materials to make their work. And I know they have, Sherry Phillip is a conservator there. That means she has to use aspects of science to preserve these works. And I thought, well, with some of the odd things that they have, that must get to be some pretty interesting science. So here she's talking about a particular piece of work that involves poo. That's right, human poo.
Tom was kind of playing with, it's a can of artist feces, and you don't know if it's actually in there, because if you open the can, you destroy the artwork. There's a speck of his feces, and it's literally like the head of a pin. It's absolutely tiny. And as the show was touring, they realized that the speck would be put on top of a pedestal, and then there's a plexi cover on top. So that's fine until you lift the plexi, and then the air current would just whisk away this tiny speck. When it got to the AGO, they decided we needed to glue that down. It's not the AGO's artwork, so I need to consult with either the artist or the artist's estate or the artist's representative. So I was having this telephone conversation about the best way to adhere this speck so it wouldn't blow away and disappear anymore. So we figured it out and we were able to do it, but I had to do it here. And I just thought, this is one of the strangest conversations I've ever had in my life about a tiny speck of feces and how best to adhere that to the top of a pedestal.
Now that's Tom Friedman is the artist, if you want to look up his work. But Pierre...
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not, yeah. But it's not always that bad. So Pierre Hughes is a sculptor that actually enlisted the help of bees to create honeycomb in his sculpture. And so that has fallen to her to maintain. And she realized, Miss Sherry Phillips, that she was going to have to learn to become a beekeeper.
I've been getting more and more artworks that are working with nature. So I have an artwork that's covered in this beautiful bee comb created by bees outside, and it's absolutely beautiful. For what I need to do, I need to start understanding the biology of it. And what does that biology mean for the longevity of the artwork and its aging characteristics? It took us about 2 years to develop the sculpture in the way that the artist was happy. And I had a blast. It was very calming. It was fascinating. Like every time I would visit the bees, like the color of the pollen would change as they were coming back to the hive. And it would change as sort of the flowers would change through the season. So it might be pale yellow in the spring when it was dandelions to a deep, deep burnt orange in the fall when it was maybe the canna lilies along University Avenue. It was wonderful to just be there for an hour and watch them. It was great. I loved it.
So that sounds good compared to the poop.
Absolutely. What else have you got on today?
All right, so it's the third book in the Storm Rack series, The Nature of a Pirate by Alyx Dellamonica, is now in stores. Oh. And I had a chance to chat with her about this cool swashbuckling pirate trilogy series, which involves a person who gets transported to another world. Think of it like Alice in Wonderland or the Narnia series, except instead of it being little kids, this is a grown woman who is using science when she arrives to discover and explore this world. But also the aspect when you get to adults doing this is that when you disappear from this world and you come back, well, there are real adult consequences from you being away from your life. Listen.
Sophie, over the course of this trilogy, finds herself in this position where she's sort of got a foot in two worlds. It's really hard to just vanish from the society we live in now. Little things sort of build up. In this third book, one of the things that happens is she comes home for a little while to get stuff for fingerprinting school. And she finds out like her credit card companies have kept billing her and they're really quite hosed. The police kind of wonder where she's been. She hasn't had an internet trail for 3 months. It's obvious she's been missing and her passport's kind of sitting in her bedroom. And she has to decide, where am I going to live? How am I going to do that?
Suddenly you're back in Kansas and, well, you got big problems you have to take care of. Now, the second book in the series, A Daughter of No Nation, won the big award at the Aurora Science Fiction Awards this year. And I talked to Alyx Dellamonica because not only was she nominated at the award ceremony, but her wife, Kelly Robson, was also nominated. So I wanted to know what's it like being a married couple and one of these big award shows where you're both up for a big award. Is there competition? Are you supporting each other? How was it?
So she won, and I hadn't been all that nervous. I've been up for things before, but she got Waters of Versailles, and we're like so happy and hooray. And there was this window of time where it's like, she's won, but did I win too? And how am I going to feel? And then it came through, and I was like, wee! And so there was some jumping around and some hugging. It was cool. It was especially cool that we could share that and that we could put them up on a shelf together with a little LED light to make them glow. Having said that, she had 5 award nominations in her very first year. It was so incredible. I'm so proud and pleased for her.
And I asked her for a favorite book, and she's got one from Toronto author Gemma Files.
Gemma's book, Experimental Film, just won the Shirley Jackson and the Sunburst Awards. It's a horror novel, and it is about a Toronto film expert who's taken some time off to raise her son, but who discovers a little piece of evidence that perhaps one of Canada's first filmmakers was this woman named Iris Whitcomb. On a train coming into Vancouver, she vanished, and the private compartment she was in was burned from the inside out. Of course, as with all horror novels, the more she looks into it, the more perilous things become.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you, KOBO. Don't forget to open up. This is what she said on The Jewel. KOBO makes it easier to access the stories you love and discover new ones in an instant. Over 5 million ebooks, a personalized reading experience, and points earned with every purchase. Visit kobo.com today and open up.